Ah, there we are. We are live
We're
on
live.
Facebook. So
Hello.
my mother and somebody I've never met in Colorado is watching us right now.
Oh, sweet.
Very
Hi,
exciting.
Mom.
So my good friend Tamara, are you still going by London? You still do that every once in
No,
a
well,
while?
my photography business is London Photo Artistry still. So, but no one really calls me that. My one friend Matt in Colorado does. So
Oh, good.
maybe it's your friends with your other Colorado.
There you go.
Yeah. So.
Now, is London your birth name? Is your
No.
real name, or is
So
this?
it has a funny story. You want to hear a funny
Sure.
story? So I was a professional dancer, acrobat
Mm-hmm.
for most of my life, and we were in London, and doing an acrobatic show.
The one in England?
That one.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. And we were on the London Underground and traveling somewhere just between shows or whatever, and somebody had like the old school like boom box on their shoulder and
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
And I was like a break dancer, b-girl, so I just started dancing, and people came from like all of their cars and were getting on. It turned into this big like battle circle or whatever. So the rest of the group started calling me B-girl London from there on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's where it came from. And then, so in LA and San Diego for a long time, that kind of group of dancers, and then it just kind of spread, and people started thinking my name was really London. So I started going by London for a few years.
That's a pretty cool nickname.
Yeah.
So you tried to bring it back, but it didn't catch it.
Well, when I moved back here, too many people just
Knew you
know
as
me as
Tam.
Tamara. Yeah.
Ah.
So it just slowly kind of died
Faded
off.
out.
Yeah.
Well, burn out all your friends. Just
Start over as London.
Start over. Okay. Oh, in case you're wondering, we are outdoors. We're in a nice park that it may be closed actually. We're not sure, but they won't let you park in the parking lot.
Yeah,
And so we have just life going on around us.
we do.
So don't be dismayed by the weird noises. But so now we've known each other since, what was it, early?
Gosh.
It
Early
was
not early 90s, maybe late 90s, or
2000s. So it would have been like 2002, 2003.
maybe, no.
Because you
I
were a
moved to-
jazz dancer at the time.
Yeah, but
right?
I moved to San Diego in 02, so it was more like 98 to 02-ish.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's right. Through
Yeah.
our mutual friend.
Yes.
But you were a jazz dancer
I was
at that
a
time. How
jazz
many years were
dancer.
you a jazz dancer?
5 years.
5 years.
5 seasons, yeah.
That's got to be grueling.
It was super fun.
I mean, because
It is a
do
little
you have to
grueling.
audition every year?
Mhm.
I mean, there's no, just because you were
No
last year,
walk-on,
you get
no.
a free you get a free ride. So
No,
5 years.
5
You
years.
had to compete for your spot.
Yeah.
It's
And it's
that's
almost
amazing.
opposite. I would say tryouts every year, because they already know the bad about you too.
Oh yeah, so you're going to get with
She was
baggage.
late, or yeah. So it's almost harder to make it each year if they don't like you. True story.
Uh,
So yeah, but it was fun times for sure.
so 5 years, then
the
you
good
moved.
years, like the Stockton to Malone days and
Yes.
finals with the Bulls and all. Yeah.
And for all those out there watching, Jordan pushed off. So, no, those were some of those 2 years when Jazz made the finals. Were
So fun.
it's so frustrating, but at the same time, it was so cool because
Yeah.
it was like I followed the Jazz back when they first moved to Utah.
Right.
I was in elementary school, and I remember when they came. I was because before that, my favorite basketball team was the Harlem Globetrotters,
It wasn't everybody.
and they still are. They still are. And but no, when the Jazz came to Utah, it was the biggest thing ever.
Right.
And the funniest thing though was that they actually tried to rename the team. They thought because Jazz
it made
doesn't
more
make any sense to
if
Utah.
They had, right.
So they had this big contest for someone to come up with a better name. And it went on for a couple months. And when they came down to it, they just decided that, well, Utahns, were not that creative, apparently. And so they just gave up
Right.
on the whole thing and just, we'll just keep the Jazz.
They probably came up with names like let's be the Nephites or the Lamanites.
Nephites, the anti-Nephi Lehites.
They're like, that doesn't fit on a jersey. We'll just keep it.
We're the stripling warriors. Well, they did. I think Saints was a big one that people were trying to push, and Pioneers, spelled with a Z. But no, it was just silly, and it was so funny that there's this big con. They were going to give like $10,000 to the person who came up with the best name, and then they just said, you know what, screw it, we're just stick with jazz.
The pharmaceuticals with the Z. That's a good Utah.
There you go. The Valiums. Oh, how apropos.
Well, I'm glad they kept it. I think, yeah.
Yeah, it's worked out. If nothing else, it encouraged people in Utah to actually start playing jazz.
Did it?
Yeah, there was actually,
really?
nobody was doing jazz. I mean, there was just nothing. And then after the jazz came, we started thinking, well, maybe we should pretend that we have jazz.
Class.
Yeah, that we're down for the struggle and we're cultured.
Yeah.
That's always been my funniest thing about Utah, is that we have a superiority complex to everybody else, and we try extra hard to be just like or a little bit better than everybody else. And so we do things that are just make no sense to anyone but Utahns.
It's all normal to us.
It's like we just want you to like us.
Yeah.
So it's a weird thing. So anyway, go on. So from there, that's when you went to San Diego and became London.
Yeah.
And it's with a dance company. How does that work? How do you make money as a professional dancer if you're not in a Whitesnake video?
It's, I've been in a fair share of videos and travel. So I did the agent thing in LA. So they, you go to auditions and book like any other entertainment.
Yeah.
So, gosh, it's hard. You don't make a ton of money for the amount of training you've put in and the level you are. Just like jazz, right? We're paid whatever.
Yeah.
And it's, you're the best of your industry and they're the best of their industry, but it's like you're barely scraping by. But it would seem to me
as a dancer, one, that you have a shelf life.
Yeah.
To some,
Nobody wants
just
to see
just like professional athletes. That's what I'm.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to imply.
Mm-hmm.
But so you only have so many years that you're really going. If it doesn't happen,
yeah, and then you go on the other
happen,
side of choreography and you go behind the camera and whatnot. There's
teaching
still some. Yeah, there's still some. So I mean, it was fun. I traveled the world. At acrobatics, there's tons of like Cirque type shows and did stuff all over the world and great experience, but for sure didn't have a lot of savings. Like didn't set me up well. You
didn't walk away with a significant 401k contribution?
You won't see Tamara Callahan Toyota.
Well, at least not for that endeavor.
Yeah, exactly. But just, super fun years and great experience. And you can get into, there are some dancers. There's the Me Michaels out there and the people doing the shows. The shows are big now. So if you happen to get on a show as a judge or a choreographer or something, it's
that's
decent.
Yeah, that's true.
There's all the So You Think You Can Dance, all those type of.
And Dancing with the Stars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I appreciate to the degree that it shows people that kind of dancing is really not as easy as it's made to look.
Right. It's just ballroom, but no.
But just like,
it's pretty hairy.
Confession, I did ballroom dancing when I was in junior high. And then when I went to college, my freshman year, my roommate had gotten, somehow he liked this girl. And he was getting to know her and found out she was in dance.
Uh-huh.
And she talked him into joining the dance class because they needed guys. And he's big dude from, he was from Vegas. And this dude was just big, solid.
Jacked.
And fat.
And fat.
Yeah, he was just big, but he was big, he was strong. And he wanted to dance, but he's like, there's no guys in class. Why don't you come join it with me? And I'm like, okay, all right. So I went and joined, and the first day in class, we go and they had us do a few basic maneuvers, but that day we started working on lifting because she just wanted to see if we could do it.
Yeah.
Right. And at the end of the first day of class, I got offered a full ride scholarship in dance.
No, you did not.
Yes, I did.
I didn't even get a full ride scholarship for that.
But it was because they needed males.
That's great.
But I already had one from debate, so I didn't need it.
Right.
But I was like, I'm still happy to do it. But the reason she wanted me to sign on with her was because then I would be committed to have to do all the competitions and all that stuff, and it conflicted with debate, so I couldn't really do it, but it was fun.
And you don't get boobs in your face in debate.
No, you don't. Well, it was funny. I had a friend who in high school, junior high school, he stopped playing football and joined the cheerleading squad.
Yeah.
And
he was a
strong dude. Yeah, he was strong and everything. And we were teasing him one day, and he goes, "Well, let me explain this. While you're out there running around with all those other guys getting hot and sweaty on the field, I'm over here. Well, let me explain it this way. You know how when I hold the girls up and it looks like I'm holding them by the hoo-ha, and we're like, yeah, and he goes, it's because I am. He says, I fill up the hottest chicks in school several times a day, every day, for 5 months. Now you tell me who's the weird one."
Right? See, I cheered in high school and college, and it was that's why guys go into it for sure.
It's there.
It's there,
fellas. Well, male cheerleading has become more popular now.
It's more of a sport, and it's the big, strong dudes,
but also there's a lot of dudes who are not necessarily particularly happy about having to pick up women by their hip.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's a different discussion.
Yes. It's a whole other country.
So now what are you up to? So that brings us. So you end up in Utah. Are you originally from Utah, right?
Yeah, I grew up here, and then I was in.
Which school did you go to?
I went to Cottonwood High School. Go Colts. And then I went to Utah State. Go Aggies.
What was your degree in? Is it in dance?
No, it was in exercise science, actually.
Oh, okay. So you'd be a personal trainer. Have you have done personal training?
That's how I met our mutual friend, actually.
Oh,
he was my client.
yes.
So yeah, I was a personal trainer for years, here and in San Diego. And then,
You still do it now, or is it just not as profitable?
Not so much. It's just, I have my couple businesses that are occupying my time.
Okay, now let's talk about those, because those are cool.
It's not very exciting, but...
Well, it's a house cleaning business.
Yes, I have a residential house cleaning, the Green Clean Effect. I might as well plug my cleaning company.
Yes, that's what you're here for.
The Green Clean Effect. And then we started an LLC for commercial viral cleanup, stuff like that. So it's EnviroSpect.
COVID-19 approved. We're going to start
Drop some CDC.
We should start
EPA,
that. We should start our own seal. The Tamara Callahan, or Callahan's COVID-19 approved cleaning system. And then you get other people to pay you to have that seal. I'm telling you, it's all about marketing.
Callahan's a good name. There's like Callahan Institute. Be good on a seal. Yeah.
I'm telling you, market. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
But it's all green. You've cleaned my house.
I have.
And you use no chemicals.
No chemicals. So yeah, everything's green.
Clean.
Non-toxic. We use a lot of things like with steam, with the commercial side, the EnviroSpect. What we're doing that's a lot different than like most of the companies right now are just going out and spraying, just spraying super heavy chemicals on everything. They don't wipe it.
And bleach.
Yeah, and they don't wipe it back off. So then everyone who touches it goes in that door, you touch your mouth and it actually changes your biome, you ruin your gut. Now you have ruined immune system to try not to get a virus. So we are doing commercial ozone and UV lighting and some things that kill pathogens and viruses without having to do that heavy spraying everywhere that doesn't get cleaned up. Because actually,
no, I thought the UV light thing was a myth.
No, it is not.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, so because MRSA, you've probably heard of MRSA. That was developed in a hospital, in a sterile hospital, from being too sterile. Like too much of the natural biome got destroyed.
It basically creates a superbug. Of
yeah.
sorts.
So that's kind of what's going to happen to us. We're going to create a bigger problem than
well, and the fact that we've been sitting in our homes, not going out and being exposed, our immune systems have also kind of weakened.
Mm-hmm. We're meant to have germs and touch other people and touch things.
We're meant to be dirty. Yeah. Well, I remember when I was
dirty.
When I was a kid, we were in, if somebody got the chicken pox or measles in the neighborhood, all of us went over there and hung out in their house for an afternoon.
To get it on purpose?
And just get over with.
Yeah, I had chicken pox. It was the same thing.
Well, it was because I had all the, I had all the shots for those things, and I still got it.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you a funny story about vaccines. So my son was not, I was the hoobie-doobie who didn't do vaccines with my son, except when he was a very baby, like the very minimum when he was like a baby, but.
The ones you have to get before they won't even let you release them from the hospital. Yeah.
But in kindergarten in California, in San Diego, there was a mumps outbreak, and all these kids that were vaccinated got mumps, and my son didn't, and he was not vaccinated. So his immune system was stronger, I think, from not having vaccines or something. It's kind of funny. So, interesting.
And I really, it's funny because the whole anti-vax thing, they've been so successful at brainwashing people that if you somehow are opposed to vaccinations in any way, shape, or form, to any degree, that you question it in any way, that you are a flat earth quack nut job. And that you're just not very intelligent. And it's like, I had somebody I got into a discussion with the other day on Facebook, amazingly enough, about vaccines. I says, well, look, the general idea that you take a bacteria or a virus or something and you inject it into the body that's not active for the purpose of creating antibodies so that when that comes later, you can kill it. Mm-hmm. That did work with polio.
Yeah, and I'm not completely
to some degree.
Anti-vax.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's
and that's what I told him. I said it's not about the effectiveness of the vaccine. It's not about that vaccines don't work. That we understand the science of it and the purpose of it. But what has happened is that it has been hijacked by the pharmaceutical companies, and they've been using it to test other things because they are completely. And this is the thing that you tell them, and their eyes gloss over, and they go, "Oh, you're a knuckle dragging Neanderthal." Is that the pharmaceutical companies have absolutely no liability at all.
Right.
They could literally inject you with chlorine and kill you, and they would not be held responsible for it.
Correct. And they're not. I mean, with the vaccine injuries too, because where the money is, right, is where they're protected.
Right.
So it gets brushed off as something else. It gets paid off under the table. Hey, just keep quiet.
Well, there's actually a registry that if your children are hurt, you can go there and you have to prove that your child was damaged by the virus.
You're supposed to have enough money to have a great lawyer and fight the lawyers.
To fight it. And they've still had to pay out over $4 billion.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who just got denied, just said, nah, we don't believe you, and it's over. There's no recourse. Once they say no, it's over. And then there's one that if you're an adult, that's a different program that you go to. And in order to succeed in that, one, it's never been funded. Two, in order to prove, you have to prove, one, that you were damaged by the virus, by it, and specifically by it, and by no other factors. That you had no other sort of even inclinations of pre-existing conditions.
Which what adult doesn't have pre-existing.
And you have to prove that that the pharmaceutical company intended to hurt you.
No.
Yes, you have to prove that they intend. You have to show where they intended to hurt you.
So basically, that's just a no, just automatic. You can't prove that. You can't.
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
you
it's
intended to hurt me.
yeah, it's like Dolores Umbridge is in charge of the whole program. You can never. There's nothing you could do to ever prove yourself.
Right.
You know, it's like
Silly. Why even have it in place?
it's like how they used to figure out if you were a witch or not. You know, they tie a rock to you and they throw you into a pond, and
Sink.
if you floated, you were guilty, and if you sank, you were innocent. It's that sort of thing. But you know, but part of what's going on in the world is you try to have that conversation with somebody, and they just blah 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 blah. You're an idiot. Blah. You're stupid. You're a science denier. Blah.
So if Facebook has taught me anything, it's that literally the human ego is so strong. There's no way to change someone's mind, and the more you try to talk about something, the more the ego comes out, and it's stronger the other way. It's like you're enforcing what they believe, not what you believe.
Yeah, it's just a big confirmational bias.
Yes.
Going in there, we just go in there and
I'm right.
let's affirm I am correct today.
Exactly.
Oh, there's something that disagrees with me. I need to assault them, and call them names and report them, or block them.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's no conversation anymore whatsoever, or there's just no consideration whatsoever of like, could this be true? Is this something I should look into? Could I even? I know the truth, and the more you say about something else, as stronger my belief is. Yeah, that's about what it is.
And it's that way with everything now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. I mean, like the COVID-19 thing. It's like, okay, you know, going in, I think we were all kind of united because it was like unknown. Benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Okay, professionals are saying that there's something wrong.
Right. Let's
This
take
is
care
something
of
to
each
be
other.
scared.
Or whatever.
It's you know, the idea was that somehow it affects someone faster, and it lingers for a long time, and it's easily transmitted more so than any others.
Right.
It's a virus, which isn't actually communicable at all, but that's a different discussion. So they're saying this, and we're like, okay, we'll go along with it. And they said, oh, just 2 weeks and we'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to beat the curve. Because what they're saying, by the numbers, this many people are going to get affected, but if we can get it so that we spread out that infection instead of having all at once, then it'll be benefit, and we'll have better medical.
But what is the benefit?
They never explained it, other than just, we're not going to overwhelm the hospitals.
Get it over with. Like, this amount of people die in 3 months versus that same amount die
Stretching
in
it out to
18 months. Yeah. And in the meantime, the economy and people's mental health. And
suicides are going crazy.
Everything.
And I think a lot of this, the rioting going on is, I think a lot of that is just from the pent-up frustration of everything else going on.
Right.
And this is just being used as the excuse to vent.
To get out of your house.
Yeah.
And have human interaction.
It's like, oh, I can't go to a Jay-Z concert anymore, so I think I'll go destroy the Chick-fil-A down the street.
Right.
And go rob a TV from the pawn shop.
Mm-hmm.
And then be celebrated as a warrior of justice.
Yeah.
Well,
and have you seen all these this stuff being released that of the cops being the ones unloading the bricks into the neighborhoods? I've seen stuff saying it's the cops, that it's white supremacists, that it's Antifa, that it's Black Lives Matter, that it's the government itself. I mean, whoever it is that you're opposed to, whoever you dislike, they put bricks somewhere. That's kind of how it's going now, and it's like, and how everything is nowadays.
Oh, you
too.
can't.
Just
yeah,
everything.
It's just whatever side you are on,
the
and
other
you
side
support.
Did it.
It's the other, and that's part of the whole thing, is keeping us at each other's throat, because it's like everybody.
That's
if you disagree,
part.
if you disagree with me, then you are obviously stupid or evil.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how every conversation turns into nowadays.
I really do think that's not a new thing. I think the way to divide us is to just keep us distracted and fighting and idiots to each other, right? Because how are we supposed to come together and change anything when this is all going on.
Yeah, when we're just constantly fighting, where we're not talking with each other, we're not communicating, we're just talking at each other.
So keep us fighting, and you keep control, and it just keeps going. Just a hamster wheel.
Meanwhile, they're raking in the bucks. Did you see that? Bezos made like $283 billion or something, or $1 million. I don't know. It's insane. Just they're all making insane amounts of money, and they're supporting. Oh, this, we're gonna keep this going. Okay, here's some more money to fund your efforts here. And by the way, have you seen what's on Prime this month?
They don't even have to pay for ads anymore. It's just we're all just there, stuck in our houses.
Stuck. But it's so weird that, you know, I would have never imagined when I was a kid that I would get to the point in my life where the most important thing in my world would be my phone.
Oh gosh.
But if you think about 90% of everything we know and that we learn is right here. It's right there. And we don't even have full control over what's on here. We think we do.
And I love them.
But we don't. Oh, hey, we got some visitors.
Yeah, we got
We're exploring. That's cool.
nice. We're not wearing masks, guys.
Yep.
Danger, danger.
We're old. Stay away. We're the enemy. But so where do you see all this going from here? I mean, what's your thoughts on all of this?
I'm gonna be like the crazy flat earther if I say well. I'll be like, no, I do think I'm not saying a virus doesn't exist. I'm not saying that it's not worse and some precautions and that it's affecting us, but I don't think all this is about the virus. If you look at numbers of other things, you know, look at heart disease and cancer and what causes those things. Does the government really give a shit about that? How
Nope.
we eat, putting MSG and processed foods and shoveling us full of all kinds of crap that make us diseased. When have they ever cared about our health or deaths or anything?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
I mean, if you look at it, it seems like they kind of maximized it for death.
Right?
In a lot of cases. I mean, like the whole thing where they're taking people who are infected, and putting them in rest homes with old people who were not infected and infected them. Meanwhile, we had all these tents and boats that were ready to take them on. They could have put them there and never even used them. Instead, they shoved them all into retirement homes and put them with the highest risk group.
Right.
I mean, how would you, in what world would you ever surmise that was a good idea in any way?
You wouldn't.
Even
That's
professionals were going, hey, this was,
Yeah.
And I hope that people, well, here's where I think happened with the whole George Floyd thing, was that I think people were starting to really realize that the virus was nowhere near what they said it was.
Right. Well, and they've come out and said that.
Yeah. And people were not just protesting the lockdown, but they were just ignoring it.
Right.
We were just
getting
like,
sick of
just
it.
screw it. Let them just go
So
back.
that
If I get sick, I get
the
sick.
second part is that we got bored of it, where they're saying that they can control us less, and then boom, this big
All of a sudden,
riots, right?
let's riot.
Like we've got to have everyone scared again about going out or their safety, or oh look, you can't control yourself, so now we need martial law and a curfew, right? Easy enough. So here. I think the end thing's gonna be an alien invasion. The ultimate, like, what to scare us. There's gonna be some kind of
I've seen
threat.
those.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I don't think it's that.
It's not.
out
Oh no,
there.
it's not, because if you look, I was watching the one videos where they're doing these projections up into the sky.
Yeah, and everyone's like seeing the lights in Pocatello.
Yeah, in fact,
whatever.
they were saying how there were over the last couple of years there was this huge bump in just seeing strange things in the sky, like entire floating cities, UFOs, people.
So they're setting us up, man.
And they were testing it, you know. I think
Yeah.
that's it. But now it's
how are
coming to
people
like they're
reacting
testing
to
how
this?
they're reacting to it. And yeah, now they're going to have the big old.
Everybody in your houses, and we're sending out the mark.
It wouldn't be that hard because you do it all on videotape.
Mm-hmm.
You could have your alien. There's a guy on TikTok Have you seen this dude?
No.
He's an incredible makeup artist, and he has like 3 different alien costumes. And he videotapes
Look it up.
himself just walking around doing just normal stuff in this alien costume. And while he's doing it, no one around him is even reacting like it's weird.
Oh, right. We're just conditioned now that it's...
You know, watching, especially in Utah, we see all these people LARPing and cosplay every day. I mean, it's
Right.
not just a convention; it's a daily thing in Utah now. That we've been, that we could literally see aliens walk down the street and be like, "Oh,
Peace. What's up?
cool. Yeah."
And really, honestly, if there are aliens, that's probably the case. It should be. There probably is no threat, really, you know. But it will be made to be some scary threat of this is how we're going to control you now.
The government, we have to take precautions. They could spread disease. We could spread disease to them. We have to have precautions. You have to stay in your home. Let's, and it's getting to the point now where it's just stay at home is the...
Stay at home, curfews.
And it's all about just
disconnect us.
control. All about control.
Well, and they're disconnecting humans.
Yes, because now our only communication is through that they can now monitor and control.
We can't even see people's smiles.
Yes.
We can't even connect as humans, like handshakes and smiles and the things that like made us human, right? Like humanity. Right. They're taking that.
And
So that's my take.
Well, no, and it's funny because when you voice that opinion to other people, they think you're nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been naturally prone to be interested in conspiracy theories. I mean, my first conspiracy that I remember studying was Paul McCartney is really dead, right?
Yeah.
Have you heard that one?
Yeah.
I was a little kid. It was a National Enquirer, and I was reading about it. I was fascinated by it. So my whole life, right from then, I was like, reality is not. There's things, and then the whole Elvis Presley's still alive.
Right.
JFK. These are the big ones when I was a kid, and then just Tupac. He's still alive. He's an English teacher in New Hampshire. But. And a lot of them are just nonsense, but they're fun to explore.
But if you don't think about these things, I mean,
if you're not
people
constantly
who literally
challenging,
don't think about things that could be. Yes, a lot of them are way out there, or they could be. But there's a spectrum. There's there's usually, even in movies, in books, in anything, there's usually a little bit of truth in anything pretty crazy, right?
Right.
So if you can conceive it, and the people that don't even remotely question things, to me that's more weird and more crazy, to not question anything, to just say, okay, we have no proof that masks do anything, the particles are smaller, there's no studies done with this virus or if this is going to do anything, but just blind sheep.
But if you wear one, it shows that you care about people.
Yes, I guess so.
It's a virtue. I mean, it's the perfect virtue signal. It's right there in your face.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm compliant.
Look, I'm part of the team.
I care about you.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. So
there's people wearing them outdoors, for crying out loud.
People wearing them in their cars alone. I just want to. Like, what the? Where is this COVID coming from in your car alone? Or like biking down the street. And I'm like, you're going to pass out and go into traffic and hurt yourself and somebody else before you're going to get
and whatever
COVID.
Exercise you think you're getting to benefit your body, you're damaging your body because you're recycling carbon monoxide into your body.
Carbon dioxide.
Dioxide, yeah.
There you go. Yeah, it's a little bizarre to me. So.
And you try to remain sane. And it's hard because it's like, it's just, the crazy is winning. And your point, it's like I'm really starting to understand people who go insane, because it's like,
especially when you're that's like gaslighting, right? When you're being pointed out as you're the crazy one.
Yes. Like, and it's like they're doing it to all of us.
What? Yeah. So that's why I'm having a Burning Man this weekend.
Yes. The whole point of having this conversation, actually.
Right?
No, I got the invite this morning, and I was like, I started reading about it, and I realized, oh, it's from you. You were hosting this.
Yeah.
So the idea is, there's a bunch of people go out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So there's no way that we could be confused with being rioters of any way, shape, or form. Just a group of people going out in the middle of nowhere. Light a fire.
No buildings.
No
burn,
buildings.
No cars to shit on.
Well, you can bring your own car.
Well, yeah, that's true. We could. So if anybody.
If you really feel that,
to.
YouTube, you want to do, if you want to do some contemporary art display for all of us, you're certainly welcome. But the idea is, and have you got a band lined up?
Yeah. Brandon Barker, who's an awesome musician, is going to be playing. So we're going to have bonfire. He'll be playing around the fire. I heard a comic Rodney Norman might open for him or something while we're out there.
Might show up.
You never know. Hey, I wore my overalls for you
well,
today.
When
Farmer Santa.
When you came out the door, I was like, I should have wore them.
I really did. I was like, I'm putting on my overalls
I should have wore them.
So anyway, yeah, just playing frisbee, smash ball. People will bring bikes, ride around. I don't know if anyone's bringing like toys to ride on or anything, but
where's it going to be at? How do we find it? Where do we get there?
The Salt Flats. So basically, you just get off the Bonneville Salt Flats exit, and then you head back east on the Salt Flats till you see us. We should be pretty.
Oh, okay.
Spottable.
So it's right where they do the land speed records and all that stuff. It's right.
I think so. I don't know where they do.
It's that same area. They just kind of block it all off. But you drive out there and you're on the Salt Flats.
Yeah, just on the Salt Flats.
I freaked people out back east because I had gone out there a few weeks ago, and took pictures and did some videos, and my friends back east saw the pictures and going, "Man, what is it? Is that like a sand? Is that all sand?" And I go, "No, it's salt." And they're like, "What?" No, seriously, it's salt. It's all salt.
Yeah.
You have to, when you're done, you have to scrape salt off of your shoes. You got to make sure it's salt. You have to wash everything because it's all salt, and it just clumps on. It's like clay.
It looks like a different planet.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cool place.
And I told the guy, I said, "Yeah, Morton Salt's out there." He goes, "No, that's where they get it from." Yeah, Morton. You pass it on your way out to the Salt Flats. You see the Morton Salt place. There's a bunch of them all out there. They're getting salt. That's where it comes from. A lot of it.
Yeah, it's wild.
So it was. So anyway, so it's out there on the Salt Flats. We're gonna get lots of vitamin D.
Yeah.
And what time does it start?
It will probably start kicking off around 6:37.
6:30 in the evening, so it's not gonna be too hot.
Yeah, not too hot. We'll have
still a few hours of light.
Kind of barbecue, music, just games, fun. If you want to knock yourself out with a mask, go for it.
Yeah. If you want a virtue signal to everybody that you're down for the struggle.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see face masks with the fist on them.
Oh gosh.
That's going to be the next thing.
Oh yeah. I have a face mask, but I cut it so that I can still eat. Stick my hoagie in there.
I got these, because Connecticut, you're still required, any place you go indoors, you have to wear a mask.
Really? Okay.
And so I got these face masks, paintball face masks. They have all these hole cut for the nose. I mean, it's completely...
No point,
No
right?
point in wearing it. But it's like, okay, if I have to wear one, here it is. And they'll stare at me like, well, it's a face mask. No one said it couldn't have holes in it. Because... yours has holes.
I want to show up. I want to show up with just like the a Batman. Like I'm Batman. It's a face mask.
Yeah.
You know.
No one said what it had to cover.
I do have to say, for my business, all of our staff does wear 95 rated masks, as required or as suggested, for the record. So I'm not being
because it was proved by the Callahan COVID-19 cleaning system.
Yes. So no, we do. My staff wears the good masks that are actually particulate rated.
That's good.
I think rest of them.
Did my friend ever get a hold of you?
Which friend?
Lori. She was a house cleaner for many years, and she had lost her job recently.
Oh, and she's
got a
few
kids, and she's looking for a job.
Oh.
So I posted. I think I tagged you on one of her posts.
Okay.
That she was looking for a job. But
I don't remember, but
Well,
yeah, tell her to call me.
talk about that later.
If anyone needs a job.
If you're looking for a cleaning job in the Greater Salt Lake area,
Or cleaners
cleaners
that will wear 95 rated masks in your home. But yeah, I think this will be a fun little
I'm excited.
Friday night.
I'm getting the wife to go with me. We're gonna go out there and hang out.
Party with us.
I'll bring. Gotta figure out how to bring power. Are you guys? Your band? Are they bringing power? What are they doing?
I don't know what they're. I think he's just planning on being
Acoustic?
acoustic. Maybe I'll find out if he's gonna bring power. I do have a karaoke machine that's battery powered, so I do have like a mic and a speaker. May not be the greatest, but I do have a plug in my car too, so.
Oh, we can try that, yeah.
Yeah, we can do. Just in case a cool comic shows up. And
Wants to say a few words to the crowd.
yeah.
Wants to give a plug to Green Clean.
Yeah.
Well, Tamara, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me. Good
A lot of fun, but now the sun's coming out. You're in the sun.
I know. I'm getting the sun.
So thank you again. It was a pleasure. As always, and we'll talk to you another time.
Okay.
See you later, everybody.
Bye.